Okay, welcome back to Jersey Shore Scouting Live on TomsRiver.tv. I'm here today with our special guest, Mr. Craig Shelley from Jersey Shore Council. Craig, I think one of the fondest memories for every scout in the Jersey Shore is their time spent at Sitta Scout Reservation. It's probably one of the nicest camps in the Northeast.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on at Sitta.
Beautiful piece of property, about 500 acres, located just outside Barnegat, so very convenient for people to get to. You're talking 20 minutes, half hour from Toms River. We operate programs there year-round. We take the resources of the Jersey Shore and put them to great use. I mean, aside from the facilities there, we have the access of what we call our Barnegat Bay Base. You can go kayaking out in the bay. All sorts of programs we do out of there. During the summer, we'll take you out to the island. We have surf programs. We have biking out on LBI. You name it, you can do it. But really, the beauty of the property, aside from being its convenience and its easy access to the shore, is really the memories that are created there. It's a great, great facility, open year-round, weekends, even during the week we use it sometimes. And then in the summer, it really comes alive. And for 2 months, we have what we call resident camp. For the older boys, that's a week working on merit badges, actually taking and putting into practice all the leadership they worked on year-round in their meetings, and kind of bringing it out into the field and working as a patrol and doing that. We also operate a day camp there for our younger kids on a week when the older guys aren't there. And then we have, for our kind of in-between guys, the Webelos, we'll do resident camp there as well, kind of introduce them to the concept of staying out multiple nights camping.
Great. And like I said, for a lot of boys, that's the highlight of their scouting career.
Oh, without a doubt.
They don't remember the weekly meetings, but they remember that week at summer camp or the first night they went to a Klondike or a camporee, and the time spent at Sitta is very, very memorable. State-of-the-art dining hall?
Yep, state-of-the-art dining hall, relatively new, opened in the early 90s, that dining hall. Also some overnight kind of dormitory-style facilities we use for training. Something we call lean-tos in a few of the sites, which are essentially kind of three-sided structures.
Cooey has lean-tos?
Yeah, Cooey has lean-tos. And then tents, year-round, you can pitch your own tents, their sites, and then in the summer we provide the tents. And you mentioned it's really the highlight of the year for a young person.
Absolutely.
You also referenced earlier, it's kind of our outdoor classroom. We weren't founded on the idea of taking kids camping, but we found through the years the best way to teach that teamwork, that leadership that we want, is to get kids into the great outdoors. And it's
that's what they love.
Yep, that's what they love, and it's worked very well.
And individual Boy Scout units can go there year-round. They can reserve a campsite, call council, reserve a campsite. I know when I was active with a troop, we used to do a fishing trip every year. Some of the best fishing in Ocean County is at our private little camp there, City Camp. And a lot of the old-timers remember that as Brookville.
Yep.
I went there as Brookville. So great camp, great facility, just on the tip of the Pine Barrens, really. And rumor has it the Jersey Devil still sneaks in once in a while. Okay, what else is going on in scouting?
Really, I mean, it's going very well. Now is a very busy time of the year for us as kids come back into school. It's also the time where we'll reach out to families and have new scouts join. It's also the time of our popcorn fundraiser. We believe it's very important for scouts to learn salesmanship, to learn about earning their own way. And one of the ways we encourage our scouts to do that is through our annual popcorn sale. And in fact, this weekend, coming up October 23rd, through this weekend, we're partnering with Wawa. All the Wawa locations throughout the county.
Wow.
You'll see scouts there selling popcorn. It tastes very good, and it's pretty healthy too.
Yeah, I look forward to the popcorn every year. Now, the popcorn sales help fund the council?
Yeah, it helps fund the local scout group. So if your scout group, say, wants to go on a trip to the Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico, and you want to try and earn some money to do that, you would use popcorn as a vehicle to earn that money. And yes, a portion of the money also does support the council operating the camp that we discussed.
Right.
Things like
And
that.
do individual scouts earn money towards their own camp? Or is that later on?
Yeah, they can do that as well. Different scout packs and scout troops will set it up differently. Sometimes it's for a collective project. Sometimes the scouts kind of go into their own account.
And both Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts.
Yep, Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. I know a lot of times you'll hear people talk about they want to buy their popcorn from the cute little Cub Scout, but the Boy Scouts are pretty cute too, so don't forget about that.
And we look forward to the popcorn sale every year to buy popcorn. Community service. Let's talk about scouting and community service. Certainly Eagle Scouts. Part of becoming an Eagle is you're required to do an Eagle Scout service project, which is usually pretty substantial. But at every level of scouting, there's requirements for service time. and Scouts look for community organizations. What are some examples of things that are being done in the community?
We do annually. Right now, we're getting into the middle of or the beginning of what's our Scouting for Food drive. You should, in your communities, bags will be dropped off at your doorstep. Fill them up with food. There'll be information there, and the following Saturday, our Scouts will come around, pick up the food, bring them to local food banks.
And all that food stays in Ocean County?
Yep, stays in Ocean County, goes to all of our food banks in the community. And that's an example of kind of a coordinated project we do. We also, about a year ago, we did a big camp out, which half of it was geared on fun, the other half on service. That was out at Island Beach State Park in partnership with the DEP. And our Scouts did about 3,000 hours worth of cleanup on the beach. There was parts of the bay side of the beach there that the park would tell you hadn't been touched in 30 years, and our Scouts did a great job cleaning it up. And those are the bigger kind of efforts. But on a weekly basis, you'll find Scouts doing just about everything you can imagine to
doing their good turn daily.
Yeah, exactly.
That program. And on the individual basis, every unit seeks community service projects. So if you're a community organization that needs help, certainly reach out to the Scouts, because they're here to help. That's an exciting part. One of the things that I think is exciting about the Scouting program, and this is more at Boy Scout level than the Cub, is the merit badge program. And people that are not involved in Scouting can get involved through the merit badge program. And let's talk about that.
And you'd referenced before that it's a great opportunity for kids to learn about careers, learn about hobbies, and that really comes into play in the merit badge program. The idea there is to introduce kids to things they would never have done. I mean, I'll tell you, I learned how to swim because I wanted to get swimming merit badge, and I wanted to get swimming merit badge because my friends were doing it, and so there you go. Closes people to a hobby that'll last them or a skill or a career that'll last them a lifetime. Yeah.
And like I said, if you're, as a parent, if you're not a coin collector, your kids are never turned on the coin collection. Scout meeting, they go to a Scout meeting, someone from the coin collecting club can come in, they work on the coin collecting merit badge, and bam, they got a hobby for life. And it's things they're never exposed to. But also skills. I think one of the most important is the first aid merit badge. And we don't even know how many lives are saved because the Scout knew basic first aid and knew what to do in an emergency response situation.
I mean, things that I just take for granted, having been a Scout, first aid, CPR, all that stuff. It's funny, I'll talk to my wife sometimes, and she wants to take a first aid class because of the baby, and it doesn't even occur to me that everyone doesn't know that. But if you're a Scout, you know that stuff.
And you use it all the time. Let's talk about camporees and Klondikes. People not in Scouting don't know what they're about. But they're fun times for Scouts.
Yeah, when Scouts do their outings, a lot of times they'll go just as their individual group. They'll go their small community pack or troop, and they'll go camping, or they'll go on a day trip, and that's fantastic. Camporees, Klondikes, things like that. Those are larger activities. I referenced the camporee we did at Island Beach State Park. That was about 1,300 people. So that gives, aside from a great program, it gives Scouts and their families an opportunity to see they're part of a much larger movement than just what they see on a weekly basis. Coming up next summer, in 2010 for the 100th anniversary, is going to be the National Scout Jamboree. So 45,000 roughly Scouts will converge on Fort A.P. Hill, Virginia.
Wow.
It becomes one of the largest cities in Virginia for the 2 weeks or so they're there. We have a number of troops and a number of volunteers from Jersey Shore traveling down there. But I mean, until you see that, a lot of times you think Scouting is, well, this is small kind of underground community thing. It's not. It's a movement. And it spans our entire country and, in fact, our entire globe.
I've known quite a few boys that have gone to the Jamboree over the years, and it's really the highlight of their Scouting career. And I guess, what's the age? 14, you guess? 14 and up?
Yeah, it varies. First class, there's a couple different requirements. I mean, the truth is we have a limited number of spaces to go, so we kind of put some requirements. But it's something to work towards if you're a younger Scout, kind of build up towards it.
Yeah, it's certainly a memorable experience. And almost every president has attended the Jamboree and spoke to the boys. An exciting time and a memorable time. Individual campouts. Now, at the Weeblo level, they still camp with their parents. So, Mom, Dad, if you like camping, here's an opportunity. If you don't, you might be surprised how much fun it is. Most Weeblo groups make it very parent-friendly on a campout. And once the boys reach the Boy Scout level, they camp with their unit. And that's where they really start to employ a lot of leadership. I learned the canoe from Boy Scouting, hiking, backpacking, a lot of activities I learned through Scouting. Let's talk about how people can join Scouts. If I have a boy now that's first grade or above, and I want to get into Scouting, what do I do?
The best resource to find a scout group in your local community is you visit www.beascout.org. There's a resource there. You go by age, then by your zip code, and you'll find all the groups in your community. And you can kind of pick which ones. They'll talk about we go camping a lot, or we do arts and crafts a lot, or whatever it is. The nights they meet, things like that. You can kind of sort through what you want. Contact a local volunteer that runs that group, and kind of get a sense of which one you want to do. But that's www.beascout.org.